Hello, it's Noelle with Baker's Backyard Bounty. I haven't made a video in a hot minute, and there's a reason why. I have been in a hole. So part of gardening, homesteading, raising children, like fur babies, whatever, is there are gonna be highs and lows. And I've kind of been hiding out because I've had just some lows, and it's nothing major, but they've just all added up to where I just want to curl up and watch Netflix in a blanket. I started a bunch of seeds for the fall, broccolis, cauliflowers, the whole thing. I mean, like tons of them. And this has happened before, but I think some kind of like cabbage worm or some pest got into the garage where I have my seed starting trays and just literally ate them. So that was one loss. The plug that we have the grow lights plugged into, there is a problem, and so the grow lights haven't been working, and the chickens have gotten out of their pen and destroyed everything that I planted for the fall, including the greens and the ranunculus bulbs. So this is not a complaining video. I'm just telling you, like, there has been a cascade of events that have just totally wiped me out. I don't know why they're not even that big, but I have just felt really discouraged lately. And I just want you to know that if you have felt this way, you're not alone. So as a therapist and a human being, I think it is a very healthy practice to throw yourself pity parties. If you do not, they tend to linger longer and it catches up with you eventually. So this past week, I have just thrown myself a pity party with lots of chips and mayonnaise and Netflix and blankets and time in the bath when I can hide from my children for a moment. So it's felt really good, and now I'm back in action. But when you feel discouraged in the garden, throw yourself a pity party, but then get rid of that stuff. Like, if things are destroyed or plants are dead, do not continue to look at them. Pull them out. That's what we've been doing. We've been pulling them out, starting fresh, harvest what you can, and then get yourself a clean slate. So today, that is what I'm doing, is I am clean slating. I'm coming out of the pity party, and I'm going to plant more seeds, and I'm going to reinforce the chicken pen and harvest all the tomatillos on the dead tomatillo plants that I can. And we're just gonna get on with the thing, okay? It's very common when seasons change, right? For there to be a season of pride or a sense of pride of what you've accomplished, a fatigue with all the work that you've done, and then a looking forward, a hope to what's going to come in the next season. Every year when we pack up the spring and summer garden and begin to plant the fall, I feel this renewed sense, but there always has to be like a period of rest, because the summer, honestly, especially during the farmers market this year, it wore me out. It has worn me down. The sun is still hot. It's like 97 here. And so just know, like, anytime a season is changing, just emotionally, mentally, physically, there typically is a level of awkwardness and fatigue and hope and just a soup of feelings. And so that is what I have been just like steeping in these past few days. With that, I want to talk with you about things you can do now to start inspiring yourself for the fall garden. And one of those things is ordering your fall garlic seed. So we've never done this before, but at Lowe's had some garlic. This is California garlic, and not all varieties grow well in the South. What we have traditionally grown is elephant garlic, which actually isn't a garlic, it's a leek, but it's big. They have big cloves, and you plant one clove and that turns into a whole bulb of garlic. So you plant that typically around like November and harvest it the next June. So it stays in the ground for quite a while. We actually did not grow garlic last year because we had such a bumper crop from the year before. We froze it in olive oil, and we just throw an olive oil ice cube with the garlic in the pan. And so we're about to the end of that. So we're gonna be growing some more this year, and we're gonna try this California variety. I believe it's a soft neck variety. There's hard neck and soft neck. Hard neck does not grow well here. It grows better in the north. So just make sure that whatever garlic you order, that you choose the right variety for your zone. The other thing with garlic is, yes, you can plant garlic that you get at the grocery store, but typically it's been treated to not sprout because they don't want it sprouting in the grocery stores. And so that's gonna stunt the growth and just not give you a good harvest. So if you can, go ahead and order what we call seed garlic. I've ordered from Haas Tools before. That's where we got our elephant garlic. Etsy has some currently, but hop on it before it is sold out. Gurney's, I believe, has some. Burpees has some. Just look online, just Google seed garlic, and you'll find what's still available. The other thing that you can do, there is a bee that was supposed to be on this video, which is so fine with me, is planting bulbs. So there are a lot of bulb varieties that are actually fall planted. We order our bulbs from Eden Brothers. We've had really good success with them, good customer service, and they actually break it down on their website. You can click, like shop, and then fall planted bulbs, and it'll show you everything that you can plant now so that it blooms early in the spring. This year for the farmers market, I was really scrambling and scraping to have stuff for that first May market because my zinnias hadn't come in, the dahlias hadn't come in. And so I had roses and peonies, and that was great, but I want to have more this year so I'm not stressing. So I'm going to do lilies. So I got a few varieties of lilies. I got some varieties of tulips. These actually look like peonies to me, but it's a fragrance mix. Again, I just got these at Lowe's the other day. We had credit card points, and so we had like this big gift card at Lowe's, so like why not? And so just again, like a bulb variety of tulips. I already put my ranunculus bulbs. If you don't know what ranunculus look like, they're beautiful flowers, some of the first to bloom, and I got I think it's called a picote mix from Eden Brothers. So check out ranunculus bulbs. You'll start planting those probably like in the next few weeks. More garlic. I got this lily mix, Tribal Kiss. Just some different varieties. I tend to gravitate towards jewel tones instead of like pastel colors with my arrangements. So I went with like the darker, richer colors versus like the pastel pink and orange and things like that. So snapdragons, those are also something good to have on hand for early spring. Poppy seeds, so you can actually put poppy seeds in the ground in the fall, typically like October-ish, so that they get cold enough. Some seeds have to get cold enough in order to germinate, and so they'll grow in early spring and summer. Calendula is actually, I believe it's frost tolerant. Correct me if I'm wrong. The back of my seed packet from Baker Creek did say it was frost tolerant, but calendula is a good fall plant to grow, a flower. So there's just options. Like the garden season is not done. And with the influx of gardeners during COVID, I've noticed that a lot more box stores like Lowe's, Tractor Supply are offering fall vegetables like broccolis, cauliflowers, and collards. So there's no excuse. I might go pick some up just to motivate myself since my little blessed seedlings were eaten. But yeah, get going on a fall garden because there's less pest pressure. It's more pleasant to be outside, and it's something green and beautiful in the dark winter months. So these zinnias are getting really sad and stringy, so I'm going to be pulling those out. I put rose bush clippings down so that they wouldn't dig up my ranunculus, the chickens, but they cannot be deterred. Like, see how much damage they can do in like just a couple minutes. It's just like so dug out and deep. They've dug around the rose bush. This was that loofah squash that just volunteered, meaning I did not plant it here. But look, I already got one coming in hot. These suckers get big, and you wait until they dry out so that you can use them like a sponge, or you can actually eat them. I just really don't know how to cook loofah, but it definitely can be done, so I might look into that this year. The tomatillos just like almost overnight, it seems, just said like we're done. So I'm gonna be pulling these out today and harvesting all the tomatillos that I can. They're not as big as I would like, but you know, we can still freeze them and make some verde salsa. Yeah, they're kind of small, but we'll make it work. There's so many of them on the plant that I want to get to them before it dies, so I can at least make 1 or 2 batches. So I have the best friend group in the world. I know I'm biased, but I actually do. It's a group of ladies from college, and they're just all so like beautiful people inside and out. They are encouraging, positive, like I just like really hit the jackpot when it comes to my friend group. today, since it's the first day of fall, which is fitting, talking about seasons changing, they have been texting pictures of candles they're burning and breads they're baking and just welcoming in the fall season. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna hop on the train and do some fall gardening. So like I said, pulling out these tomatillos, what we like to do is like a no-till, no-dig method, which means whenever we take plants out, we don't rip out all the root system. We leave it in there so that for the next, it kind of like the root system aerates the soil. So for the next plant that goes in, it has to work less hard to really dig deep and send out those deep roots. So we leave the roots in the ground, which also stores the nutrients. So we just cut the stem at the soil line, roots stay in, and we take the plant out. So that's what I'm gonna do with these tomatillos right now. Like, can you see how big this plant is? Tomatillos get massive. So yeah, that's a big bad boy. The stick, or the stem, was pretty thick, so it took some work to cut out. But I'm gonna harvest all the little lanterns off of it now. You, my dear, have been the main culprit. This one sneaks out. She is I think it's, what's it called? Sicilian Buttercup. And I love her so much. I think she's a beautiful chicken. And she's sweet and lets me hold her. But man, she can tear up some garden beds. So really, I think like whenever I get the most discouraged or frustrated in the garden is when things happen that are out of my control. Who'da thunk, huh? And in life, right, like that's such a part of life. Like there are way more things out of my control than in my control, if I'm being honest, if I'm not fooling myself for the day. But you know, there's something that is, I guess, spiritually how do I want to say it? There's something that grows us spiritually whenever we surrender to seasons and surrender to things not being always according to our plan. Like there's something larger than just us in our will. And so that is what the garden teaches me, begrudgingly, oftentimes, especially when things go wrong. And so in this season, that's just something I've been reflecting on, is kind of this idea of like, well, really, it's just being honest about my frustration and the depths of my frustration. Like sometimes I just want to quit, right? Like, why am I doing this? I'm just gonna go to Walmart, thanks Louie, and buy all the things. Like I'm tired of growing stuff, right? But like, I need to learn this lesson, right? Like abiding by seasons, having things out of my control, being in tune with nature, building perseverance, building discipline. Oh, that is my downfall. I think I mentioned that every single video, but building discipline, not leaving seedlings out in the burning sun to fry. Like these are all good things to cultivate within myself. But yeah, gardening will show you quickly how much is out of your control. And so just know that if you're signing up, like it's not gonna be all roses, literally. So I'm always thinking about tasks that my toddlers can do without destroying everything. And actually, as I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know what? This would be a good task for them, like picking off the lanterns. They love picking stuff. That's one of their superpowers. So why not harness that for good and have them pick all these lanterns off for me? So what I'm gonna do is actually, some of my seedlings are salvageable, the ones that got destroyed by the bugs in the garage. Some of them are salvageable. So I'm going to actually up pot those now. And after I pick the kids up from school, let them take on the tomatillos. This is just a video about all the things. But this is the side yard where we had the chickens for months. And we're gonna be moving these water barrels and cinder blocks and all that, but this will be the fall garden. They have prepared it well so that there's tons of like straw and chicken poop and just all that goodness that needs to sit. If we plant right away into chicken poop, it's too hot, it'll burn the plants. Not like literally hot, but like hot in terms of fertilizers. And so we've really enjoyed rotating the chickens seasonally so that we have really fertile ground to plant our plants in. And I really do attribute that to how we have been able to grow so much with these new beds that we've created. So that's gonna be happening soon. It's so hot outside. My phone keeps like shutting down for temperature reasons. It's like overheating, and it's like end of September. My husband and I, Reed, were talking yesterday about, we were laughing about, it's like trash day yesterday. And the amount of stuff that I'll say we, mostly I, pull out of the trash in our neighborhood is like laughable. Like, I don't know anyone else that dumpster dives like I do, but I have found treasures, y'all. This being one of them. It is a shut off. It is a 3-tier planter that is in this wonderful bronze color. It's going to be beautiful with lettuce greens filling it up. Seeing it even has like a little stand at the bottom. I'm very excited about this on my front porch. Speaking of my front porch, I have some on the way to the front porch. I just have to show y'all, look how bad this is. They completely ate all my broccoli. That one could probably be salvaged. I mean, everything's just destroyed, and they're leggy because of my grow lights. So anyways, maybe yours, I'm making you feel really good about yourself right now if your seedlings look better than this, which hopefully they do. I keep getting distracted. Okay, on the way to the front porch, this is our side garden. It has hydrangeas, and our peonies are over here. And what we're gonna do is actually, just ignore all the mess, from this corner to that corner, we're gonna expand the bed, and this is where all our bulbs are gonna go. So my dad always laughs at me like, oh, you speak French, girl. We gonna do this, we gonna do that. But yeah, mostly Reed, and I'll help him. Is gonna expand that flower bed. Okay, so I'm finally made it to the front, and I planted this morning glory months and months and months ago. Okay, this trellis was not one of my trash trellises from dumpster diving, but I have found some. Anyways, look at this plant, and the first morning glory has popped. These are called Clark's Heavenly Blue Morning Glories. And what I love about it is it's like wrapping around the brick. Oh, I'm just so excited. This is a big day, y'all. Just like soak that in. No filter. God is good. Our clematis is starting to come back now that it's dropped a couple of degrees. This one's really beautiful. I hope it takes off up the pole. So I save all of these doohickeys from plant nurseries and Lowe's, wherever I get plants. I save them all, which is kind of a hoarder's paradise in my garage on my garden shelf. But they come in handy when up potting seedlings. So like all those sad babies I just showed you, I'm gonna fill these up with potting soil, and not seed starting soil, potting soil. It has more nutrients, more long lasting, and they can grow and grow and grow and be happy, hopefully pest free. All right, you guys, moral of today's video is it's okay to get discouraged. It's okay to have a lot of feelings when the seasons change, and it's okay to keep going, okay? So throw your pity party and then keep growing. Let's keep growing. Thank you for hanging out with me. May you find the bounty in your own life and all the beauty that it holds, and I will see you soon.